Thank you everyone for joining us here today at Levittown Public Library's Egoscue class with Kimberly. Today is November 22nd, 2021, approximately 11 a.m. Go ahead, Kim.
Thank you very much. Approximately, I am in the Levittown area, and I'm going to be as approximate as I can when I tell you the tools we're going to be using today. Anybody who is new, it'll be simple. I'll give you modifications if you're unsure along the way, but what I want you guys to do is pay attention to your body. So if something doesn't feel right to you, don't do it. Just skip it. We're going to use a block today, and we're going to use a strap today. The block, if you're new, it can be a pillow off of your bed, but you just want to fold it in half or maybe in thirds because you want a lot of resistance. I could sit on this thing and it won't collapse. So you want that much resistance. The other thing we're using today is a strap. This is just a belt off of your pants. And last week I was using actually someone's leather belt. This guy that I found, right? Knocked him out, took his belt from him. I need that. The other thing we're going to be using today is our static back block. This is just the height of a chair in your dining room. Don't use a bed. Usually beds are a little bit too tall. What you want is the distance from your hip to your knee. So it's femur, so it's hip distance. We're going to be using that when we do our floor work. If you can't get on the floor, you'll notice that a lot of the work that I do on the floor can certainly be done in the sitting position in a chair, a lot of the things that I can do. So if you get confused and I forget to give you a modification, just remember a lot of the stuff that we do on the floor can be done in a chair. So just get a little bit creative, and then you can yell at me later in the comments, hey, you forgot to modify this for me. I'm gonna start out in static back today, everybody. We're gonna lay down on your back, and you're gonna trap your legs in a 90-degree angle. That's the point of this move. So again, if anybody's new watching this, I'm in the same position as I would be if I'm sitting in a chair. So what I want you to do, if you're not on a floor and you're not going to trap your legs like so, you're going to get yourself in a chair. You're going to walk your tailbone all the way back into your chair. I hope it's not a couch because you want it to be nice and flat and strong because we want to create change in the body. So you're going to walk your tailbone all the way back if you are sitting in a chair. And you're going to use the whole back of the chair to help sit you upright. And you're just going to sit there with your feet square on the floor. If your feet don't touch the floor, get creative. Put some books underneath your feet. And lay here for 5 minutes. If this is the first time you've done static back and you notice your shoulders are rounding up off of the floor and your head is looking behind you, put a little bit of a pillow underneath your head. You want to keep your face neutral to the ceiling. And I don't want you to do that by forcing, by going, oh, if I just tuck my chin in my chest the whole time, then my face is neutral to the ceiling. No, I want this to be predominantly a passive move. Laying here for 5 minutes, we're going to let gravity realign us. So we have touched on this menu months and months ago, maybe even a year ago. This is our deep 6 menu. It's going to hit the deep, well, it's called the deep 6 because we're working on all of the hip muscles very deep. So iliopsoas is our main muscle that we're going after because most of us with our hip flexors, they're very, very weak and tight for the most part. You athletes out there might be very strong and very tight. Either way, this menu is going to address that. That should be our driver, is this area in our hips. I've got my nasty book here. It's got all my old menus throughout the years, things that I've stolen from other therapists, things that I've stolen from YouTube and other websites that no longer exist. So that's like the Bible right there, the Egoscue Bible. You do want your arms to be relaxed. Perfect place for them to be is at a 45-degree angle from your hips. That way, your shoulders are in a position that's kind of neutral. So if you bring your arms to your sides and touch your arms to your sides, you'll notice your shoulders start coming up off the floor. If you bring your arms out, you'll notice they start to relax towards the floor. So just find that place where they start relaxing to the floor and leave them there. I think some of my Thursday students are going to finally be watching this video because Thursday is Thanksgiving for us. So we're not actually going to hold class. So I am thinking of you guys and keeping all of my students in mind that I have met over the years and who I know are actually watching and working with me. So I'm keeping you guys in mind, shoulder issues, knee issues. A couple of you have some back issues. So I am keeping that in mind as I give you these menus and give you these moves. Of course, if anybody has any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Earlier last week, I did go over all of the comments that I saw on the Levittown Library Egoscue classes so that I could refer. And I actually spoke with one of my students on the phone, so very good. This is going to be a strong-ish class. Some of the moves might make you sweat. They're certainly going to make me sweat. They're going to build some heat in the body. There's no harm in creating a situation where your body needs to work. It's what your body is designed to do. That's why your heart rate begins to increase. Your body starts to get warm. Your body starts to sweat. These are things that are really important. I like to ask some of my students, when was the last time you had yourself a good sweat? And if all your pores aren't doing their job, it doesn't have to be daily. It would be great if it was daily, right? But if they're not doing their job, we're not creating a situation where they need to work. You don't use it, you lose it. That's why you guys are here. I'd like to think it's because of my joyful personality, but I know it's not. I love you guys. Are going to stand up. We're going to do a modified version of the gravity drop. So if you guys have gravity drop and you've done it before, go ahead and get yourselves a gravity drop. You're going to need some stairs for that, or maybe even your slant board. You can put your slant board up against the wall for those of you that know. Everybody else, we're going to go pigeon-toed against the wall. That's a good alternative for our gravity drop. What we're going to do is put our heels against the wall and keep our feet parallel and hip distance. I like to use my fist and put it right between my big toes. My hands are a little bit small, so I go a little bit more than that. But remember, hip distance is only about the width of a dollar bill. This is what I got here. These are my hip joints. It doesn't change. I could eat a buttload of cheesecake. Doesn't matter. My hip distance is going to stay here. It's at the joint. So put your heels against the wall, turn your feet straight ahead, and now we're going to turn the feet in. I want you to look down at your toes if you can, because we want to keep this angle very symmetrical. So one of my clients, one of her hips doesn't work as well, and one of her feet looks like this, and her other foot looks like that. And I said, okay, well, just make it as even as you can, even if you do less. So you want your feet to point in. We're going to hang out here for a few minutes. So toes touch, heels on the wall, thighs tight. Don't think about anything else. That's it, everybody. That's it. Usually gravity drop is a 3-minute long move. So we're going to stand here for 3 minutes. When you do gravity drop, if you don't have a slant board when you're doing gravity drop, use your sneakers. There's a reason for that. We don't want the toes to start flexing. We want to keep the whole foot as a platform so that we can leverage off of that and get the spine to change. So if you're doing gravity drop on your stairs and you're dropping your heels back, make sure you're using shoes. If you're on your slant board, it doesn't matter. If you have a different shape in your behind and your back, maybe even in your shoulders, and you feel like you're being pushed off the wall and you're like hanging on to things and you're looking down, you certainly can't see your feet, you could take a step away from the wall or away from the door. So again, if you have a different shape in your behind and it's pushing you off of the wall, just take a step forward. Doesn't have to be a big step, because the point of this move is to stack your ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders in a vertical line. Those joints that I just mentioned are your load-bearing joints. That means that these joints need to bear your load, your weight. They need to load. That's another word I could use in place of load. Bear your weight. Merriam-Webster's dictionary here today. That's why many times we can look at these, let me just call them secondary joints, like your elbows. And when we're doing moves on hands and knees, if I'm catching your elbows bending, it's telling me a load-bearing joint isn't able to do its work. So we have to change the exercise for that person, or we just have to get the compensation to get out. So I might tell you, hey, lock out your elbow. And that's going to force the load-bearing joint to do its work. And it might take time. Take some time for some of the muscles and the tissues to remember, hey, this is what I need to do, but the body does it on its own. That's why we have to listen to the body. I'm not here to say, hey, do it anyway, even though it hurts. No, 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 no. That's what got me into trouble. So I learned a lesson nice and hard. That's how I found Egoscue. Excellent. I really do love seeing everybody doing what they're doing. And Cindy and Marie and Rose. I can only tell that you guys probably have some sort of benefit from this stuff. And that just makes my heart sing, because I see you here every time. I'm glad what I'm doing is helping. Okay, noodle legs come off the wall. Let me move this stuff out of the way again. Okay, we're gonna take it hard like I told you. We're gonna go a little bit tougher than usual. Right in the beginning, we're gonna do an air bench, okay? We're gonna hold it for 2 minutes. Let me set my timer again. 1, 2. Okay, air bench. If you can't handle this, you're just gonna sit back in your chair. Air bench is putting your back against the wall and walking your feet out. Do not do this in socks, please. You're gonna do this either in bare feet or put your feet on a mat or put your sneakers on. Notice that my feet are out further than my knees. I do not want your feet here. I want your feet out further than your knees. You should be able to see maybe shoelaces. So I don't have a 90-degree bend in my knees. You're going to push your lower back into the wall using your legs, friends, using your legs. So if you're noticing, oh, wow, this is kind of bothering my knees, just slide your back up the wall a little bit, and that's going to take that pressure off. But I want your feet to be just like they were before: hips, knees, ankles, same line vertically, if you were to look. Same line. For some of you, you might be coming to this exercise with an anterior tilt. If that's you, then you might have to do a little bit of a posterior tilt to push your lower back in the wall. You might feel like you have a little arch. Gosh, I can't believe my feet are sliding right here. Stay, feet. We are 1 minute in, everybody. If you could do it only for 10 seconds, then great, 10 seconds. You should feel a lot of this work in your quads right here. Don't let your knees flare out. Don't let your knees go in. If that's happening and you cannot hold them straight, put a pillow in between your knees. That'll force both sides to do work. Get the mustache sweat already, right? It's going. Warm. A little more than 30 seconds left, everybody. Pushing your lower back in the wall. It's as if my hand is on your lower back and I want you to smash it. I stole that from Brian Bradley. He's the vice president of Egoscue. I don't know if everybody's seen it way back, maybe 2012, something like that. They did a series, Journey to Becoming Pain-Free, and they followed one gentleman throughout his 8 sessions of Egoscue, his pain, what it was like, his family, what he did. And you get to see good old Brian Bradley there. He's quite a talker. And it's a good video series to watch. Egoscue did it. Oh, come on out, everybody. All right, static extension position. I'm going to take it onto hands and knees. If you can, come onto hands and knees. If you can't, you're going to do something on the wall. We're just going to place the hands in front of you on the wall. The point of this move is to drop your shoulder blades together. So you're just going to let your shoulders come together. Keep your elbows straight. Remember what I told you before about the shoulders. Everybody else, if you can, come onto hands and knees. We're going to take this for 2 minutes. Make sure your knees are right underneath your hips. I don't want to see any of this. I don't want to see any of this. right under your hips, everybody. So you could use your fists again as a little bit of a guide. Hands are right under your shoulders. Look between your knees, everybody. If you see your ankles, your feet are not in line with your knees and hips. So you don't want to see your ankles. Make it so you can't see your ankles. We're going to walk the hand 6 inches forward. So put the palm where your fingertips are. It's just a small movement, small movement. That's it. Palm where fingertips are. And then I'm shifting my body forward. So my shoulders are back in the vertical line with my wrist. I catch so many newbies here. No, you moved way too far, or you started out and you weren't in alignment. So it should only be just a little bit. So my hips are 6 inches forward of my knees. Everybody drop in, shoulder blades come together, which is hard for a lot of us. And let your back come to like a position of a sway back horse as your head hangs. If this is hard for you to do, and you notice your elbows keep wanting to bend, stance your hands out wider. That's going to help your shoulder blades come back and down. We want to get them to retract. If your wrists are really bothering you, you can come onto your fists and just keep that. I've caught so many people. Stay in it, everybody, if you're okay. I've caught so many people. When I say come onto fists, they do this. And they're still basically on their wrist. They're just pulling their hand into a fist. That's not what I mean. I mean, take the flexion out of your wrist and do knuckle push-ups. That's the position I mean when I say come onto your fist if your wrist is bothering you. I find that so cute when I catch that. Like, come onto your fist. And then I see it. No, oh, clearly you've never punched anybody. One more minute, everybody. Check in with yourself. Make sure your elbow is nice and straight. And do not push against pain. If you feel sincere pain, get the heck out of the move. Like I just showed you earlier, an easier version of this would be putting your hands on the wall and just leaning in, just getting creative. Same idea. We're just getting the shoulders to come back and down. And this move can be done on your elbows too, forgot to say. You can certainly do it on your elbows. "15 more seconds, everybody. Just hang in with me. Elbows straight, head is dangling. And we're putting a lot of load on the hip flexors. That's the reason why I put you in this position. Come on out, everybody. I'm going to take into cats and dogs. You can do this either sitting in your chair, or you can do this on your hands and knees and stay in it. Just make sure you bring your hands back so that they're underneath your shoulders and your knees are back underneath your hips. Go for 10. When you come into the arched position, I'm going to drop your shoulder blades back, just like the last move we just did. And then you're going to tuck under, back and forth. This can definitely get done sitting in a chair. All we're doing is taking the spine through this flexion and extension. We're bending it one way, bending it the other way. That's it. Very simple move, but it can be challenging. One of my clients can do this in a chair, but once I put her in this position, it's like, duh, can't figure out what to do. So her body is not sure, and we're working on that together. Great, everybody. We're going to take our block. Where the heck did I put? It's over here. Prone ankle squeezes, not an easy move. We're going to lay down flat on our belly. Lauren, this one may bother you. So what you're going to do instead of prone ankle squeezes, you're going to lay on your back, put the strap around your knees and push out. We're going after the glutes in this move, but we're doing it in a prone position, which is tough. So those of you that have an anterior tilt, maybe some lower back pain because of an anterior tilt. So you have that tendency to kind of go here or sway back, younger girls. You might feel a little pain in this position. If you do, then you're just going to skip it. You can lay on your back and just rest. So prone ankle squeezes looks like this. I'm going to put the block right in between my feet, or if you have a pillow, put it right between your feet. And I'm going to rest my head on my hands, pull my heels into my butt, and I'm squeezing my ankles, just like it's called, prone ankle squeezes, over and over. Over and over is what I'm doing. So this position really pulls the hip into extension in a nice flattened position. And this can put a lot of stress on people's lower back if they have an anterior tilt. So like I said, if that's, excuse me, happening to you, you're going to put the strap around your knees, lay on your back, and just push out on the strap. I'm going to show you another angle of this. Keep on going, everybody. You've just got a lot of responsibility here. Show you another angle. When I'm doing this, I'm still keeping my ankles, knees, and hips in a nice line. But if you notice when you're doing this, that my hamstring is cramping, or I don't really feel this work in my butt as I do my squeezes, what we can do as a bit of a Band-Aid is to open up the knees a little bit and continue squeezing. So it's almost like you guys who come into your gluteal contractions, right? In the hook lying position, you can't feel your butt work. And I tell you to extend your legs straight, and then all of a sudden your butt works. Same idea here. So I'm pulling your hip in a different position by spreading the knees and hoping it's going to recruit the right muscles. But it's not a glute squeeze, everybody. So don't turn this into a glute squeeze. It's still an ankle squeeze. So keep squeezing through your ankles, the instep, your heel, your big toe, repetitively, over and over. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Wow. I haven't done this move in the longest time. My body is so shut down here from bicycle riding, and that's really all I can say. Bicycle riding, sitting and driving to the bicycle. Oh my goodness. I used to be able to feel this in my hamstrings right off the bat. They would cramp because my butt wasn't working. Maybe some of you got that, but I don't feel it anywhere. Oh gosh, how depressing. I don't feel this work anywhere, which means I am in such compensation. So many tissues are doing this work that I can't isolate it. But if I stay here and just keep working, taking a break and keep on working at it, it's gonna, aha, okay. My left hamstring just turned on. So you guys might feel similar things. That's why I'm sharing that with you. You might feel one leg's doing it and then it starts creeping up into another area. These are great signs of change. Just a few more, everybody. I can't expect you to keep up with me because I'm so dysfunctional, right? Kim doesn't feel it yet, so we stayed on the same move for 20 minutes. It would be terrible. Terrible. Don't let your heels fall away from your butt either. Tendency is for your legs to drop. Keep your knees bent. Oh yeah, totally. Man, I'm gonna have to work on these after class. Okay. Come on out, everybody. So in a perfect world, both legs should be doing work, and you should have felt all of that in your butt. But again, if that's not happening with you, you can do it afterwards like I'm going to do, because I know my butt is really shut down. Grab your strap. We're going to put the strap now around the knees, just like I told one of the other students earlier to do. So this is going around the knees, and my knees are hip distance. Again, I can use my fist as a little bit of a guide. Double fist is a little bit too wide for just a tiny bit, but you know what? I'm going to leave it there because I know I have a tendency to tighten it up too much. So I'm going to put the block in between my ankles and my feet, and I'm going to put the strap around my legs, just above my knees, everybody. Because now what we're going to do is we're going to be pushing out on the strap, but at the same time, we're going to be squeezing it on the block. I'm going to give you a few rounds of this, and then we're going to add a lift to it. If the lift hurts you, bothers you in a bad way, then don't do the lift. This is kind of tough for a lot of people to get. So it's okay to segment it. Knees out, ankles in, break. Knees out, ankles in, break. But you want it to eventually be at the same time. I'm losing my word. What's the word for at the same time? Duh. Duh. Okay, now that you guys have got this, I want you to keep some pressure on the strap with your knees so the legs are going out. And you're going to keep some pressure on the block or pillow, just enough to hold it. I'm going to lift the feet off the floor 2 to 6 inches. This is not a movement from my knees, it's a movement from my hips. So I'm leaving my knees locked in place, lift, lower from my hips. You're going to feel this in your lower back. You're going to feel this in your butt. You're going to feel this in your calves. It's a lot of work here. You're going to feel this in your abs. Even though this is not an abdominal exercise, this is a hip flexor exercise. The abs have to turn on because we're picking up the legs, and all of this leverage on our seesaw, right? It's a big seesaw, is pulling in this area. It's just a seesaw. All about leverage. Again, if this is bothering you to lift your legs, then just keep the feet on the floor and keep working on knees go out, ankles go in. You can do this sitting in a chair, no big deal. Just like I said before, you can take these blocks and straps and put them in the same position and just work on it sitting in a chair. This ain't no big deal. Feels like a big deal though, doesn't it, everybody? Feel that? Feel that work? Feel all those muscles that have gotten weak and shut down? They flip-flopped rolls. Some are doing work for others. Some are just being real lazy. Of course, that's not what's happening. These are just the descriptive words I'm using. They have forgotten how to be recruited because our daily activities have not required their use in a certain pattern. So all of these moves in Egoscue are designed to stimulate the body and coax it back into a function. Right? Function is doing what it's designed to do. This is work. Feels good though. Keep that pressure. I just had a tendency to squeeze more on the block and not do anything with the strap. Doesn't have to be a lot, but I do want it to be kind of equal. Okay, we're going to take the strap and we're going to keep it there. We're going to kick the block out of the way. I'm going to come closer so you guys can see what my feet are doing. Actually, we're going to use the block to pop it up. We're going to do rocking chair. Now, rocking chair looks like this. Your feet come up and your heels come up. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see a different angle of that. Heels and toes. You're not going to put your feet on the block. Your feet are going to be on the floor. I'm just doing this so you guys can see because the camera angle is, weird. There's another version of this that's a little bit harder. Heel, toe, heel, toe. But for now, we're going to keep it rocking chair. Both ankles in dorsiflexion, both ankles in plantar flexion. Okay, we're going to do this in the hook line position. Yes, you can do this sitting in a chair. Don't need to be in hook line. All right, hook liars. Keep your feet parallel. We are keeping the strap around the knees. We're going to apply some pressure on the strap, hold it, and then rocking chair. Toes up, heels up. Your feet are going to walk away from you. So if you notice that's happening every 5 or 10 or so, just bring your feet back to position. Try not to evert your feet. What I want you to do is keep your feet parallel, just like I showed you. It's going to be tough if you're not actually paying attention. You're like, oh, I assume I'm doing that. But if you sat up and you actually looked at your feet while you were doing it, and you saw, wow, I'm picking up my feet, and they're going out to the sides, which is a tendency that they'll have, fix it. The only way you're going to fix that is if you sit up and you look at your feet. Keep the pressure on the strap. So what we're doing is killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. Again, we're doing the deep 6 menu. Deep 6 menu. Muscles that run internal. So as groups of hip flexors, some superficial muscles too, but mostly we are working hip, 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 hip today. Driving through the hip. Oh, I just lost pressure. Evacuate. Keep the knees pressing out on the strap. Just caught myself. It doesn't have to be hard. Maybe 30% of your effort is pushing out on the strap. I also caught myself using my toes to press myself up because my ankles and the muscles surrounding them, so many, are getting tired on the one side. So you might notice that too. Our next move is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So take this beautiful break while you have it. Oh gosh, it feels good. Does everybody feel some stuff maybe in the back of their legs, maybe finally coming around to their butt or the sides of their hips? I hope so. Hope you're with me and you feel that. A lot of this work where we did prone ankle squeezes and the work with the strap is to try and get the glutes to kick on. All right, kneeling Aztecs, everybody, you're going to come with me. We are going to kneel on the floor. If that's not working out for you, I'm going to think of a modification for this one, but it's kind of intense and it's meant to be intense. You might just skip it for me until I could think of it. Kneeling Aztec. Find yourself a wall or a door. We are going to kneel on the floor and we're going to be pressing our hands into the wall. I'm not thinking about shoulder distance. I'm actually just thinking about keeping my hands a little wider than shoulder distance. So like a nice wide push-up, but I am thinking maybe neck height, shoulder height might be a little bit too low to place your hands. Notice I'm not really adhering to many 90-degree angles when I place my hands on the wall. So pretend I'm facing a wall here. I'm placing my hands like so. What I'm going to be doing with my feet is this. I'm tucking my toes so that I can use my toes and my legs to push myself forward into the wall. But what's going to happen is I'm going to use my hands to press against that and resist what I'm doing with my legs. So it's like a turn on, turn off, like an isometric exercise, if I used that term correctly. Somebody should tell me, Kim, you're not supposed to get drunk before you come on. Kidding, everybody. If I was drunk, I'd be a lot easier on you guys, I think. So I'm just folding up my mat because, the floor is a little bit tough. Another way of doing this, you could try it standing. I don't see why that wouldn't work. But same idea. You want to keep your hands pretty wide. I'm going to show you it from the side and then I'll show you it from the back. So I'm getting myself in a position so that my knees, hips, and shoulders are stacked and my hands are on the wall. I'm about, let's say 8-10 inches away from the wall with my knees. So now I'm applying the force with my legs. If my hands weren't there, I'd push myself into the wall. So I hope you guys get that. Hands on wall, push yourself into the wall, resist with your arms. You're going to feel your shoulders come back and down, then turn it off. Turn it on, turn it off. Turn it on, turn it off. Turn it on, turn it off. I'm going to show you what it looks like from behind. Everybody looks fabulous. I can see everyone. From behind, same idea. Here's my hands. Turn it on, turn it off. On, off. That's it. I'm going to stay here for another minute. If you were getting this in therapy at an Agoski clinic, they'd give you 3 sets of 20. This move is terrible. I hate it. I hate this move. It's hard, but needed. I hope you guys can feel some shoulder work as you do this. It really is almost like it's a prep for push-up, really. We're not going anywhere, but our legs are pushing into our arms and we are resisting. It's a prep for push-up. If this is bothering anybody, go ahead and lay in static back. Go ahead and lay in deep hip flexion, especially for those of you who have sway back tendencies or anterior tilt tendencies. If anything's bothering you, take another position. Do the standing, give it a shot. You might teach me something. Hey, it happens all the time. All the time. How do you think we came up with these stupid moves to begin with, right? Somebody got creative and made them up. They tried them on their body, tried them on somebody else's body, and realized, wow, this actually helps this in most cases. So, wow, a Gosky move. Boom, there you go. And relax, everybody. Only because I want to relax. You're going to take your chair. Remember, I told you guys to grab a chair or an ottoman, something like that. We're going to do a wall stork. Wall stork is standing on one leg. This goes away. We're going to trap ourselves on the wall, and we're going to hold for 3 minutes in each position. This is not an easy move. If this is too hard for you to hold, then hold it for 10 seconds or less. You can also turn this into more of an active move by putting your hands behind your head, drawing your elbows back, placing your foot and taking it off. We've done that. And then we've turned it into a step up. But for now, I'm going to keep it at wall stork. So what's happening here is you're standing with your heels against the wall. You're going to put one of your legs in front of you, but make sure the vertical alignment is the same as when you stand here. So ankle, knee, and hip stay in line. The leg goes up on top of your chair and it's going to stay there. Okay, so I don't want the leg out, don't want the knee out, don't want the foot in a funky line. That's what we're doing. So I'm trapping myself. I'm going to put my left leg up first, just so you guys can see what's going on with the rest of my body. Keep it in line with the hip. I'm placing it at a 90-degree angle from the side. It just looks like this. That's it. My feet are still hip distance. Now, granted, the leg that's on your chair, you're going to be very light on it. Can you do this? Can you pick it up? If you can, we're actually doing the move wrong. What I want you to do is put your hands on your hips and slide your hips towards the foot that's on the chair. Then you'll feel, whoa, you'll have to turn the leg on in order to stop yourself from falling over. That's the move. 3 minutes, hold. I've done this to you guys when we used to meet, And I've taken my 2 fingers, put them on either side of your hips and given you a little bit of a shift. And I know many of you have felt that. So the leg that's on the chair is also doing work. You want to try to evenly distribute your weight between both legs. Now here's another cleaner upper. You can take the leg, the hip on the leg that's straight and down, and go ahead and sit it out like you're going to put a baby on it. And now go ahead and correct that. And that helps get you deeper into this move. Remember, the tester is, can I pick my leg up off of the chair easily? If you can't, you're in a better position. My torso just started to shift this way. It just kind of happened. So before I was leaning pretty heavy, at least my shoulders, almost like a scoliotic curve, which I have a little bit of because my shoulder, we all do, doesn't matter. And my torso just started going, whoop, shifting back over. Amazing, right? Amazing. Most of the scoliotic curves that I see don't happen on their own just to the spine. It's usually coupled with a hip elevation, shoulder elevation. One shoulder is doing something different than the other. It's never just a spine that goes lateral. There's always other things involved with it. And I am no different. A little more than a minute left to go, everybody. Remember, the leg that is on your chair is also working. It's load bearing. I'm sure you feel that in your hamstring. Take your hands on the back of your leg. You feel that it's on. Take your hands into your butt, not in your butt, but on your butt. Feel your butt muscles, your glutes. I'm sure you feel the thigh with the leg that's down. Most definitely, that thing must be on fire. Don't worry, we'll do 5 minutes of air benches when we're done. Kidding. It's not an easy move, so if you have to get out early, go ahead. If you could stay with me, we've got less than 30 seconds. And oh joy, we've got the other side to do. One of my clients on Thursday, and she might be watching it this week as well. She loves this move. She asked for this move. This move is very helpful for me too. What we're going for here is not only hip separation, right? We're simulating a walking position here. So it's not only hip separation, but we're getting pelvic separation as well. Beep, 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 beep. So you know I'm not lying. Okay. Make sure your hip distance. You don't cheat on that one. Hip distance. Feet are still parallel. Okay, so I took my weight onto my straight leg to get my foot up there. Now I have to put the weight back on that leg. So shift your weight over until you feel, whoa, oh, this is bad. I might fall. Oh yeah, I've got this leg to lean on. Lean on it. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Remember the other thing that we do to get deeper into a correction, sit the baby on the hip and correct it. There's a lot that we're going for here, and I've played with this move a lot on my own and thought, well, if my knees tend to go in, even sitting the baby on the hip and correcting it, my knee still has a tendency to go in, my ankle still mashes in. What if I squeeze my glute a little bit and all of a sudden my femur rotates out, right? If you guys have seen the menus for internal knees, you notice it starts out with glute squeezes, trying to get the glutes to kick on a little bit to help rotate the femur out. So then I noticed when I did that, I went, I know my quads are working a little bit more than my butt, clearly. So I didn't turn this into a whole glute squeeze and hold while I do this, but I did rotate the femur out using my glute, and then I'm almost using the stickiness of the wall to kind of hold it there. And then my ankle starts to change position. So as you notice these things and you start to learn about your body and the positions that they should be in, as opposed to the positions that they've defaulted towards, you can start playing with these moves and start finding the nuances that help you out. I know it can get confusing because everybody has a tendency to think, listen to the teacher, listen to the doctor. They know what's best. Guess what? We're all finding our way in the dark here. We really, really are. So finding that little nuance for yourself and discovering these things for yourself can be really, really beneficial. So please don't be afraid to get creative, to dig in and follow your intuition. Because that's what's going to help. Your body is telling you, don't do this, but do this. Listen to it. 1 more minute. So interesting on this side. I keep moving further and further over as the moments pass, more and more is happening, and I'm feeling things change. When you lay in certain positions, you might want to just adjust and move as your body's actually changing. That's what's happening. It's not like it's a nervous twitch. The tissues are manipulating themselves and moving. So move with them. Move with them. As I described that to you, I feel this move in such a different way now. Fantastic. Feeling good about it. Oh my God, no joke. There is an air bench. There is an air bench on the list after this. Like, why? Why? Oh gosh, as if your thighs don't have enough right now, right? Okay, we're gonna do it. Yeah, we're gonna do the air bench after this. That was a strong move. Would you agree? It's a pretty strong move. So now we need an equally strong move to now bring balance. So we did a unilateral. We're going to do a bilateral move again. So come back into air bench. We'll just hold it for a minute because we've got a couple more moves that we're going to touch on today too. So remember that air bench we did earlier? This is just sitting in the chair that isn't there, right? 1 minute. Remember, press your lower back into the wall using your thighs. It's not just tucking your tailbone under. It's getting that to get your back at least flat into the wall, and now push using your legs. I'm going to go lower. There we go. And this is the second time we've hit this move in this sequence. So we can use this as a functional test. What changed? What's different? Is it a good difference? Is it a bad difference? Bad different is usually, ooh, something hurts. Good different is, that changed. It's not bad, it's not good, but something changed. Good, we're heading in the right direction. 10 seconds. Ankle circles, point flexors are next. We're gonna do those on the floor. If you cannot do them on the floor, do them in a chair. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, my thighs are so tired. I bet yours are too. Oh, what was I thinking today, right? No jumping jacks, no mountain climbers, but a lot of hip work. Ankle circles, point flexors are done in that same position as our wall stork, except we're using our hands to hold the legs in a position. You want to pull the hip into deep hip flexion, but I'm still staying in that vertical line with ankle, knee, and hip. So when I pull my knee in, I don't let it go out. I don't let it come in. I keep my ankle also in line with my knee. So some people have a tendency to come out here. Some people have a tendency to go here. Try to keep it in a nice straight line. The leg that's straight out on the floor, I'm not letting the leg flop out to the side, and I'm not holding it really, really strong, straight, and tight either. I'm just making sure my toes point to the sky. That's it. So it's usually a little internal rotation from the hip when your leg is straight on the floor. Pull your right knee into your chest. If that's too hard to do, take a strap. Put the strap around your leg and pull that in. 40 circles out. Let your toes pull you through. Do not move from your ankle. I catch this a whole lot. Do not move from your knee. It's not a knee movement. It's one of the reasons why I put my hand behind my knee, is because I want to see if my knee is moving, and if it is, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop it from moving. Other thing is, don't let your heel drop to your butt. See how I dropped my heel, my butt, my knee is flexed so darn much that actually shuts your hip down. So try to keep your shin parallel to the floor, and you'll feel the hip turn on like mad. I do the circles with my outward circles first, then I go inward circles, and then I go point flex. You might have a hard time even getting circles. Might look like a square or a triangle. It might feel so tiring that you could only do 10 or 5. That's okay. You can do this sitting down. You could even do this in static back, the first position we were in. Try to get a full circle. Try to pull deep. You need a break? Go ahead and take a break. I'm going to go in now. In fact, you know what's so funny? And I don't really have close contact with any more therapists at the time. This is the one move that they never do breaks in. I have never been cued to take a break in ankle circles, point flexes. Glute squeezes, absolutely. Knee pillow squeezes, definitely. Reverse presses, pull over, everything. Ankle circles, point flexes, no break. What? What? Bull. Now I'm going to be on a mission. What's the deal with that? What's the deal? Oh, it's tiring, right? I'm starting to move from my knee, actually. I'm noticing it. I'm doing this. Stay still, Kim. We are moving into the point flexes. So you point your toes, you pull them back. It's the rocking chair move that we did earlier. Plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, back and forth. Oh boy, that feels special, doesn't it? Doesn't that feel special? Make sure your knee is in line with your hip and your ankle is in line with that. There really is a tendency to bring your ankle in towards your crotch and bring your knee out. There's also a tendency maybe for some of you to bring your knee right over your belly button. Don't do it. It should feel a little awkward keeping the knee in line with the hip. Remember, we're simulating walking position here. We're trying to get your ankle to come along for the ride. Most of our ankles, it's not that they're weak, it's that our hips aren't working and our ankles are overburdened. So now we're loading hip. A little bit more work here. And we're getting ankle to just cooperate with some movement. Ready to switch, everybody? I sure as heck am. Now the tough side. This is Kim's weak side. This might be your strong side. Check it out. Big ankle circles. I noticed on this side, my circle isn't quite a circle. I kind of turn my heel out. So if you pretend as if somebody's actually holding your heel in place, your circle's going to feel quite different. Quite different. There's so many directions that the ankle can move. So try to keep it. Ooh, caught my leg that was on the floor. It started releasing and going out. Remember, the leg that's straight on the floor, toes point up. Back to the ankle can move in so many different ways. If you pretend somebody's actually holding your heel, your circle's going to feel very different. You'll notice some spots that it doesn't really want to go. You make it go there. I'm kidding. I'm just coaxing it. Your circles may never look like circles, but it just may be enough to keep you out of pain, give you the stimulus enough to keep your hip working enough so that, hey, now my foot pain has decreased or my ankle pain has decreased and I can go play with my kids. Everybody ready to go in with your circles? Oh, these are torture. Oh, this side's so hard for me. Tired already. All right, I found a move I need work on too. So my prone ankle squeezes and ankle circles. Oh my God. Okay, Kim's been slack on this. Sorry, everybody. Kim the loser. Kim the loser. Oh my God. I give myself a little break and I go back into it. It's like, no. No. Oh, so slow. I have to think so hard just to get a circle. Man, I suck. Oh, boy. Are we there yet? Did we reach 40? I don't even know. I don't even think I hit 10. I'm probably halfway there. I don't want to hold you guys up. No, I'm just going to move on. That's me avoiding work. All right, a few more, Kim. Come on, girl. Come on. We're going to do point flex next, everybody. Oh, my circles are terrible on that side. Terrible. Look like crescent moon cookies for Thanksgiving. Yeah, point flex, point flex. Well, that tightness and tension that you feel is actually the fascia. I hope you guys took a peek at that. If you Google microscopic fascia, you'll see the microscope coming into the tissue that surrounds your muscles, surrounds your organs, goes through your muscles, has 10 times more, say neurons. I'm just going to leave it at that, 10 times more receptors than do the muscles. So when you're feeling pain, more often than not, it's the fascia that's cueing you for that. So that fascia has fluid in it, but it's a non-Newtonian fluid, which means it can get solid and also go liquid. So that's what you're feeling as you move more and more and more and more and more. It kind of starts stiffening up. It's not your muscles, it's the fascia. Okay, guys, done with that. Oh, doesn't that feel good? I'm done. And so are you. That was our last move on the Deep Six menu. I hope you liked it as well as my stupid antics. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. If you do celebrate, if you happen to be in Europe, then you don't celebrate that. So I'll see you the next time I see you.